Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my channel. About the question of the day. At the moment, I call myself Sister M. So, if you have any questions whatsoever, any nursing related questions, any students that have questions, any mommies that have questions, anything, you can just post me on my email or just put it on the chat. Um, I've opened up this YouTube channel because I've got a lot of information that I want to share. And when it comes to nursing students, it is one of those things that I want to simplify for them. But I'm not just going to focus on them. Okay, so there's a lot of other focusing things that we're going to be looking at. Just apology, I got a throat that is giving you some challenges, so I will have a cough here and there, but it won't spread to you. We have social distance, so this is my meme question of the day. Right, so we'll look at the question of the day in one of a nursing student has seen me this. It's factors influencing your lungs. Okay. I said there a little bit in Afrikaans. Yes, I am in Afrikaans. I am Afrikaans. But faktore wat jou longe beïnvloed. Okay. We know that we cannot live without lungs. Okay. That you've done in your first year, or in general, that you know, that everybody know, without oxygen we cannot survive. Okay, so let's quickly look at the factors influencing your lung to function. Right, let's quickly go through that. The second video that I'm going to upload next week is going to connect to this video, because there you will see then all your disorders and diseases, which then will make sense. So why a specific disease, like for example, bronchiolitis. Bronchiolitis, what is it? Okay, so we know what it is, and then we know what it does to the lungs. And then we know what the signs and symptoms is. Okay, I hope you guys are still with me. Okay, so let's start off with just for before we start, information that I haven't shared with you is information that I explain to people. Okay, obviously I had a foundation with the anatomy and physiology and the pathophysiology, but I do understand it now and make it easier for students. Alright. So with referencing, because a lot of students is going to listen at it, I'm not going to specifically give you a referencing. What I can do is I can attach some amazing books or ebooks onto this video, just to show you guys where I get my information from. But also, the internet is full of information. Okay, so but be careful with the internet. Make sure the information that you get is an article. Alright, that's facts. not just somebody said so. Okay, the best, safest way is to go look in an article. Alright, that's our best way. So, if we say factors influencing the respiratory system, that would be the one is breathing. Okay, so where does breathing comes in? You know that breathing is inhalation and exhalation. So you breathe in and you breathe out. Okay, we call that inhalation. So it's in and exhalation. Those two we call breathing. All right. But how does it, if the lungs cannot do that function, okay? And we're looking at the factors influencing the respiratory system. If the lungs cannot complete that function, there is abnormalities happening in the pulmonary surroundings, and that will be followed up um, in your video too. Okay, then in order for us to breathe, it doesn't automatically happen. Okay, there's a specific pressure outside in the atmosphere. That's why we can live here. There's a very specific pressure and gases. You all know when they have explored Mars and they explored other places for us to go live when the earth is not optimal again. So then they have another place. But one thing that they found out is the gases, is the pressure. So that doesn't connect with the pressure and the gases that humans need. The earth is the only planet that can give us that. Alright? When you go to the moon, you all know when we go to the moon what happened there. Alright? So you need to have some praises. Okay. Go look at your physiology. You will have to get that pressures. But in a test, we're not going to ask you those pressures. We just need you to know that there is a specific pressure in the atmosphere. If you're breathing like calmly, that two pressure is the same. The atmospheric pressure and the pressure in the lungs is exactly the same. But the minute that you start breathing intensively, the pressure in the lungs increase. Okay, so we breathe in like, and then we increase the pressure in the lungs. Okay, what happened to atmospheric pressure? It's decreasing. Okay, and that in itself is the abnormality. So when your atmospheric pressure and your lung pressure is not in sync or balanced out, we have a problem with breathing. Okay, so we will bring that in next week. Then there's a factor that we call pulmonary ventilation. For you guys, you know what pulmonary ventilation is. If you look at ventilation, it's something that you need to ventilate. Okay, so here we have the pulmonary ventilation, and that happens after we breathe. After we breathe, so and that will give us oxygen, carbon dioxide, and everything that we need in order to survive. Okay, there's other minerals, other gases that we also inhale, but that inhalation, it gives you that pulmonary ventilation. Okay, so the lungs is like ventilated. Okay, but if there's abnormality to the lungs, like for example cystic fibrosis, or there is a, a functionality, like for example, the patient or the person um, have disorders of the lung um, membrane, which also plays a good role in breathing. So if you look at that and you have that abnormality, then you're also going to get um, disorders and diseases. Okay, now you need to look for me. I'm going to do the second video. So yeah, you need to look for me. That pulmonary ventilation, it's not just the lungs or just the upper part of the lungs. Okay, so it's a continuous process. Um, Oxygen, carbon dioxide comes in and it saturates, ventilates the areas of the lung that needs to function so that we can breathe and all the other things. But, but then there is an area which we call the alveoli. So I just want to quickly just remind, this is remind me. I will draw you the alveoli. So the alveoli is part of the lungs. Alveoli is very important. So alveoli ventilation, which when the alveoli also gets its oxygenation, okay, and is full with oxygen. So what does the alveoli do with the oxygen, carbon dioxide? It assists with gas exchange. Alright. Is with gas exchange. So gas exchange is the exchange from the alveoli through that membrane between the cardiovascular system and the alveoli. So we exchange um, gas in that regard. I'm just going to, sorry for my my talk. I'm just going to, so this is your alveoli. Your lung is up there, if you guys can see. And then you have your capillary, so for your circulation. You have your membrane between the alveoli and the circulatory system. So and you can also get the cardiovascular system, but we call it more the circulatory system. So this oxygen that came into the lungs, where must they go? We want them here. Okay, so how do they get there? From the alveoli to the through the membrane of the alveoli, and then it will go then. Just give me a black pen. And then it will go, your CO2 will, for example, go there, a lot of them, because we don't have any problems. A lot of them, we don't have any problems. And then also, from the system, what do we get there? The system, the cells, the heart, the brain, everything They receive oxygen, but they also use that oxygen for cellular, um, um, where they need to use it for for feeding. Okay, we call it cellular respiration. Okay, but in the meanwhile, while they were using that energy, that oxygen, they have a waste product that comes from the circulatory area, and that is CO2. It as waste product. Okay, if you don't understand that, please pop me an email or a chat, and I will come back to you. Okay, let me just take this bottle away here. So I hope you guys understand this far, because it's gonna make your respiratory system information very, very easy. Okay, so that was alveoli ventilation. We also talk about gas exchange there. So the alveoli is getting the oxygen. Okay, but let's say breathing happen. Actually, the atmospheric pressure and lung pressure need to be number one. Can you see that? So if we look at breathing, okay, breathing cannot happen if the pressure, the atmospheric pressure and the lung pressure is in alignment, or at least an increase or a decrease of the pressures, okay, as well as your exhalation. Again, so the atmospheric pressure is important, and the minute we breathe deeply in, the lungs, pulmonary pressure increase because we've got a lot of oxygen there, and then we have the atmospheric pressure that is decreasing. Okay, as I said, that's the same problem that we're going to be delving in video 2. Okay, then now where is the oxygen going to the pulmonary ventilation, and remember that there is pulmonary arteries that all over the pulmonary areas that needs to function, so they also need oxygen. It's the same here with your alveoli. You can just put this here. Okay, so um, so that you can have those available to your alveoli as well. Because the alveolus function, it needs oxygen to move oxygen and CO2, no? Gas exchange to exchange. The oxygen come in and then the CO2 go out, and it um, go out as an expiration. Okay. The second one, we're talking about abnormalities of the lung. This is a very important one. I'm not going to go into detail because my second video, I will try and get it faster up. But your abnormalities of your lungs, um, there can be a lot of abnormalities that's happening to your lung. Like for example, the lung doesn't get oxygen. And in the second video that I'm going to make for you, why doesn't patient doesn't get enough oxygen? Then we look at things like obstruction in the lungs. Why is there obstruction in the lungs? There we go. The reason why. No? Then so this is a big one, and it will be intertwined with our second video on the respiratory system. Okay, this was, excuse me, 1 minute. Thank you for giving me the 1 minute. So I will just continue. Next we want to talk about diffusion, areola, gas exchange. So if you have we have gas exchange. Then we talked about the gas exchange, but diffusion are also playing a role. What is diffusion? It is the movement of gases, from a high concentration. So I'm writing very ugly. High concentration to a low concentration. So how does diffusion help with gas exchange? Remember here with gas exchange, we have oxygen coming into the system. Okay, and when I say system, I say oxygen coming into the whole body to get oxygen, the brain, everything. And then, but diffusion assists gas exchange with what we are saying here. Gases, diffusion is gases from a high concentration to a low concentration through a permeable membrane. Okay. So we have established that the alveoli have a membrane and it is permeable. Okay. Now diffusion helps. This cannot just happen automatically. Diffusion helps because we breathe in the oxygen not in the brain, in the lungs. We want this oxygen through the whole system. So when we look at the whole system, then diffusion is saying it will move gases from a high concentration, which is that oxygen. Okay, so you will move those oxygen to a lower concentration. So we know the body already have used oxygen and gave us CO2. And the same thing for the CO2. Okay? So, a different, sorry guys, a different method for the CO2. So you have no different method, actually the same. So if you have a CO2 in the blood and it's increased in the blood, so it's a high concentration in the blood and it will move through a semicircular membrane to a lower concentration. of CO2. Alright, I hope that makes sense, and if it doesn't, please pop me a comment or anything that I can help you with. Alright, let me talk about, you can in the meanwhile get you some water, né? Um, get you some water, um, yeah, so that you don't miss um, anything. Alright, okay. So the last one, I always say the last one. I don't know why I do that. Okay, so we have ventilation, circulation. So what is ventilation? You've heard it by pulmonary ventilation, alveolar ventilation. Okay, so that spreading, it's almost like we call it oxygenation, not ventilation, oxygenation. Huh? Okay, so that would be, talk about ventilation, which we say oxygenation, and then we talk about circulation. Okay, it's a little bit of a deep concept, and I'm just going to make it easier for you. Okay, there is a relationship between the ventilation and the circulation. Remember, the circulation is the it's the area, the circulatory area, no? That provide oxygen to all the organs, everything that needs to do something. But at this part, we've said here is a membrane. Can you remember what is function? Not function, and why it must be a permeable membrane. And we look at, then we have alveolus. Okay, and then we have bronchus. I can't, I can't, what's the word? Paint or all of those things. Okay, so when we talk about ventilation, we all know breathing comes in, we ventilate the lungs, we ventilate the alveoli, but we also ventilate the arteries, circulatory system, we ventilate the kidneys, we ventilate through diffusion. Okay, so that's very, very important. But now let's say ventilation in relationship with circulation. What does that mean? Circulation, we've talked about it. Ventilation, we've talked about it. Okay, the oxygen is coming in. Alright, so what is this? Number 6. Number 6 is actually saying that the amount of oxygen that comes into the lungs need to be in a balance to the circulatory system. Let me say it in another word. Okay. So your ventilation and your circulation needs to be in relation to each other. Axis said that it must be 1 to 1. always. The reason for that is all the ventilation gases that's in there, and again, we want to transport it to the system. So if we look at, if there's no optimal circulation, then where is all that oxygen going to go? Maybe the patient has a heart disease. Okay. Maybe the patient has kidney disease, but mostly, or a myocardium disorder, okay, which influence the circulation. So if I look at it, I want my system, the amount of oxygen that we get from outside, it need to be in relation with the circulation that is there. If it's not there, if it's not in a relation, okay, we call that a mismatch. And that's a huge problem which we're going to tackle. Okay. Again, let's look at our fourth last one, and then I will relieve you. Is low HP levels and oxygenation. Okay, if a patient have a low HP hemoglobin level, where his iron is very low in his blood, okay, that's a problem. Why is that a problem? Because the oxygen every oxygen molecule, one of them, one oxygen molecule, almost like a little bubble key when you do that bubble spraying. Each one of them needs a HP. And if your HP is low in the blood, what's going to happen? Those oxygens that's going to give the HPs, good for you, but the oxygen that don't have HPs, that is a problem for the cells. Because there's certain aspects that are happening in that trial, that this patient, that the oxygen can go through to the cells. If it's not there, it's just going to float in the blood. So that is also something that we look at. Decreased circulation. Yeah, decreased circulation has a huge impact on our respiratory problems, on our respiratory system. Okay. If there's no blood flow, there's a decrease in blood flow, what happened to your lungs? What happened to your lungs? You still get enough oxygen, but if you have a decrease in circulation, that means that, like for your HP, it means that you're going to sit with a lot of HPs. Okay, hope that makes sense. But we will go into deeper into that. Second last one is your obstruction. If the lungs have any obstruction, obviously it can be sputum, it can be something that the baby has choked on, any obstruction, anything that obstruct the airway. No oxygen come through. That's emergency. Like you need to do something yesterday. Okay. Other obstructions like your mucus obstructions due to microorganisms, that's a very, very given one. And when the alveoli, very much to do with secretions. So if the alveoli have if there's infection by a microorganism at the alveoli, you will get some obstruction, almost floating of the pulmonary organs um, in that secretions. Okay. And then the same blockage, obstruction, it can be the same, but it can also be different. But we will talk about that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our tutorial. As I said, if you have any questions on this that we've done, you can let me know. Okay. Until we see you again, think about question of the day by Sister M. Yes. Enjoy your day further. Bye.